Yeah. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yep.
Action. Welcome to the Relationship Smith Show. I was going to cut into some Suicidal Tendencies lyrics there, actually. I was at camp this weekend with the wife, enjoying a fire and listening to old school music, and I can't recommend it enough for people. Sit by a fire, play some music you haven't listened to in 20 years. You're going to a different world. Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. We are live. We're using all new software. Hopefully look better, sound better, and you enjoy the show a little bit more. We apologize for our last two broadcasts. They were a bit uneven, and a lot of that was either my bad camera or I picked the wrong microphone sometimes. I'm taking the blame for all of this on me. But the best thing about this show is, besides the new software, we have our really great friend of the show, Paige Bond, who is a licensed marriage therapist. You can visit her at her site, paigebond.com. And Paige, just so I don't get anything wrong, tell everybody about your book on jealousy.
Yeah. So I created a free jealousy workbook that people can download on my website. And what it does is it really walks you through about kind of what are the signs that you're feeling extremely jealous, like when you're feeling those extreme kind of like that whoosh effect that you get. So I walk you through kind of the science on why that happens to you, and then help you pinpoint what are your signs that you're feeling really flooded and really intensely jealous. And then I walk you through some really great coping skills to comfort that jealousy.
It's a lot of people need it. I could have used a book like that especially in my younger years. Jealousy ruled my relationship. It ruined. In fact, I knew by the time I met my current wife that it was a problem and I couldn't let it be part of this relationship. And I was fortunate in that I was able to kind of figure out a lot of it on my own. But some people I went through a lot, and that's what helped me learn. And I think your book's great for people, especially getting started in, you specialize in non-traditional relationships, be they multiple sexual. I don't want to say multiple sexual partners, and I hate the term swinger as a catch-all as well. What terms would you use besides poly for loving relationships or?
Yeah.
So whatever your relationship is, other than just man and wife, Paige specializes in it, and she also specializes in that as well, correct?
Yes. So like to use the catch-all term ethically non-monogamous, and that really covers all the different types of structures that it could be.
Yeah, I love that term. Did you come up with that?
No. Oh, I wish.
Oh, I like the word ethically non-monogamous. It means there's no lying involved and you're being an ethical, good person with your partner or partners.
Yes. Yeah, there's a really great book that talks about, it's called The Ethical Slut. And that was kind of
I do remember that. Sorry.
Yeah. See, there you go. I think that's really what started the phrasing. I kind of started using the phrases of consensual non-monogamy, but I've really more transitioned to ethical, since I think that's just a little bit more well-known.
Nice. So Paige, we haven't seen you in a while. Have you had any new adventures or new stories you want to tell us about? How have you been in general?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Which story do I tell you?
The most salacious. We want to get the people joining in. And
well, it kind of depends. Are the three of you really big planners? Like, do you like to plan things and you get anxious when you don't have things set in stone ready?
Comment? No? Okay.
This evening we got started later than I wanted. I'm like, are they just blowing me off? Is this how they tell me they're done doing the show?
I'm so sorry.
You got fired.
No, you did mention you were going to see a spider. I don't know, there's a spider movie about spiders or something.
A Spiderman, yes. Miles Morales Spiderman. Yeah.
Spiderman. Was it as excellent as it should have been?
It was the most phenomenal thing I've seen since Spider-Man 1.
That's
the original. Yeah, no, it's phenomenal. No, it touches on a lot of stuff, and I can't say anything without spoiling. I'm sorry. I really
don't say anything.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm sorry,
just
guys.
Say it was awesome. Go see it. You loved it.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
No
awesome.
Spoilers.
None.
But yeah, I to get back to your point, and Josh, you could answer here too. I generally have plans to back up plans, but when I go on vacation, when I go somewhere, I am planless. In general, I went to Key West or the Cudjoe Key technically for a week, and I wanted to do jet skis, and I wanted to do this, and I wanted to do that, but I didn't pick a day. I didn't have any itinerary other than I'd like to get to these if I get around to it. Yeah. I like doing that because at work I plan. I I've managed 24 project managers, so I'm good at planning. But when I'm trying to relax or do something, no. So yes and no. Josh?
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Josh? What did you say?
I think that I would be along the same lines with Hammer there. Yeah, I like to have things planned out. I like to know what I'm doing normally on a normal day, normal weekend.
Yeah.
Sometimes very much, I think, to my wife's dismay, because she likes to be a bit more easygoing, and I like to wake up and know what the fuck's going on immediately. I want to know right now.
Tell me what
but
we're
then,
having
yeah,
for dinner when it's breakfast.
yeah. Let's so we know we can get through this day properly,
Yeah.
easily. We know what's coming.
So
But
that's how I got you to
vacations, things like that. Of course, yeah. No, take that time off and just do whatever the hell you want.
Nice. So what about you, Paige? How does this work into your story?
Yeah, so this works into my story. I'll kind of just tell you what usually causes people great anxiety and chaos is something that gave me such freedom and liberation of just doing whatever the fuck I want. So I went out to Oregon with some friends for a trip, and I decided that I knew at some point later on during the week that I wanted to go to some sort of big national park. And I had booked a one-way flight from Oregon to Las Vegas to like leave on a Monday.
Okay.
And then I noticed that like everybody else's flight where they were going back to our original place we came from was actually a later departure than mine. So I was like, you know what? No big deal. If I miss the flight, I'll just drive to my next destination. And so I ended up missing the flight actually. And
I've never. You've just triggered an anxiety.
And that's what I figured would happen. This is it gets actually much worse than that. If this is how much anxiety you're feeling right now. So I arrived at the airport. I was able to get a rental car, and I decided, you know what? Why don't I just drive around? I know that I have a one-way from Vegas to see my aunt later on during the week. As long as I make it to Vegas, that's what matters. And so I set out from Oregon on a Monday and didn't know where I was going or sleeping that night. Didn't have a place in mind, but I drove about 11 hours and ended up somewhere at the like very top border of Nevada. Stayed in this really interesting area. And then I woke up the next morning, didn't know where I was going, but hoped that I was going to make it much further. Eventually, 2 days later, I made it to Utah and got to see Zion.
Nice. I hear that. I've never seen it, and I've been in that area, and I've never made it here. I actually heard the words. It's better than the Grand Canyon by a lot.
I bet it is. I haven't seen the Grand Canyon, but I'm going to take that bet. And I think it is because I had planned to only stay there for 3 hours. I ended up staying in Zion for 7.
Yeah.
There's so much to explore. It was beautiful. So, yeah, I didn't know where I was sleeping pretty much every night. And I didn't know how far I was driving every day until about like 3 hours out from when I would get tired. And I was like, all right, well, let me find somewhere to like rest my head tonight.
Hey, Josh, can you make her the big? She's doing I just was thinking.
I like being the little.
No, you're the big now. You're the big spoon.
I'm not used to this position.
I also wanted your URL to show a little better on the screen. So were you traveling solo, or did you have partner or You were solo for this?
Yeah, I was solo. So I was driving. The first day I drove 11 hours.
That's hard. I'm a road trip person. I love doing road trips. I was the person my friends would call, hey, we're going to go here. I'm like, okay. I didn't need a reason why. I was telling you earlier before we went live that I had hacker friends and phone. We had a friend, I believe his name was Lorax, in the hacking circles, fairly famous. He just got out of jail, and we drove up the next day to meet him in Lansing, Michigan. We just got in the car. I didn't know him. I never interacted with him personally. And my friend's like, let's go see Lorax. I'm like, okay, sure. I was the guy to get in a car and just go without thinking, without cash sometimes. So I love that. Like, let's just see what happens. It's a wonderful, but I've never done it solo, and I'm very jealous of you right now, actually.
Yeah, well, actually, don't be too jealous, or go get my workbook if you want.
That is the best plug I've
Um,
ever heard.
yeah, I know. But I actually realized at the end of that trip that it would have been so much better being with somebody else and sharing those experiences with. I had a blast. I had a great time, and I was able to like keep in contact with people who mean a lot to me during that time. But it just would have been so much better pointing out these things on the road, like with somebody else in the car with me. So don't be too jealous.
I've just never done that. I think that's the jealousy part. Like I do love a 2-person road trip. Like I think that's why buddy movies are always 2 people. Although Road Trip, the movie Road Trip was what, 5 people? And DJ Qualls and some actor that his brothers were more famous, sort of thing. But yeah, I like one-on-one. When we had more people, it's a little more chaos.
Yeah.
No,
That
you
was
disagree, Josh? Or you don't like that screen setup? I just see your head shaking. That's all.
And I see nothing on my side.
You
Josh?
guys there?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I hope he didn't freeze. He might have.
I hear
We can
Josh.
just keep talking. No, we'll just keep talking. We can. The other thing is, I'm logged in as an admin type person too, and I could do that or that. I just don't know what any of these things do.
Do we get a caller?
All right. Do we have a caller? No, I don't think so. Not yet. This is the one thing I like to ask people. What is the one photo in your mind when you think about this entire trip? Like Oregon and otherwise, what's the one picture in your mind? Like if you put a cover on this photo album, what is the photo in your mind?
Mm-hmm. So it's a photo of me. One of these national parks. I didn't get to go on a trail or anything because there was so much snow that I don't think the parking was available for it. So like I drove basically 2 hours to get to this place to find, okay, well, you can't go on the trail and hike it. But I wanted, at least to take in the scenery and stuff. And so the photo in my mind is me propping up my phone against the car door so I could take a like selfie of myself. That was kind of like a little bit more proper. And it's 60-degree weather. I'm in short sleeves, but there's ice and snow all over the ground and beautiful trees in the background. That's what I think of.
That has to freak out people who are native to Florida too.
It freaked me out. How does science work? I don't get it. We didn't learn science in Florida. Public education is bad here.
Being from Pittsburgh, that is usually all of March for us. We walk outside, it's beautiful and warm, it's shorts weather, but like there's still a foot of snow. It's just not right. And then the snow will melt just in time for more snow to come, and then it'll be like a -3-degree day the next day. Like it's just the bizarre of you live in Pennsylvania and somebody's rolling the dice on what the weather's going to look like. So
It's messed up.
yeah, it's not fun. That's why we vacation in Florida.
Yeah.
So Zaz, are you all set up? I skipped you on the are you the planning type person? Because I know you are a planning type person. And he's shy. Zaz is actually one of your bigger fans too. Like I mentioned your name, is like, you have to go and check out her podcast. And so do you have any questions for Paige, buddy?
Well, Paige was the first person that we had that had one of the most phenomenal questions, I think, at the exact same time. Considering your expertise, several of our shows, I've used that anecdote of the keep just casually.
I love watching
back
you
the camera.
slowly moving.
Yeah, this is normal. This is completely fine. What was it about somebody having a AI relationship, which I still think is the most fascinating question. And now my internet's gonna go, so that's good. Hope
Keep
you guys
talking. We don't.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh, look at that head. Anyway, so I've been like scrambling to find something that was like of this same ilk, from the same birth. And I think I have something. It's not really the AI relationship thing. It's technology based, which I don't know. But you set a bar on like the level of questions that we could have for somebody on a show, and I have yet to reach that one. I got somebody where they think their wife is hacking their devices, but I mean that's a jealousy thing, so that kind of falls in your expertise and technology, which again I find is fascinating. Oh my god, if my camera doesn't stop doing that, I'm gonna have a brain aneurysm. Is that a thing? Sure it is. Anyway,
Did you have a big fountain drink at the movie?
no. I'll get into it later, but I think I mentioned I stopped drinking coffee, and
It didn't work.
changed my diet, and wow, a lot more energy than normal. That's nuts. Yeah,
Taking caffeine out of your diet gave you more
not just a
energy?
little caffeine, Paige, a lot of caffeine, like a
How many
gross. Well, I'll say it this way: the chat with the doctor was, "How many cups of coffee do you drink?" And I said, "About 3 to 4 a day." And she's like, 3 to 4 cups of coffee a day? I said, no, 3 or 4 Yetis a day, which is the equivalent of 12 cups of coffee a day. So
Ooh.
on paper, I should be asleep right now. It's the opposite of that. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
On
it's,
paper, you should be dead.
Yeah.
very,
Your
very
heart
close
should have
to it,
exploded,
Josh.
buddy.
Yeah. It was triple digits over triple digits. So yeah, we got there, boys. If it was an Xbox Achievement Award, I would have got all of them. So yay, I'm good at something.
You're good at
Oh.
more than that.
God damn it, Josh. So yeah, that's a little bit of a background on that. Boy, I wish my camera would stop doing whatever it is it's doing right now.
It's great when you call it out too.
Yeah, no, it makes it even better. And I
I like the
consistently
part
do
where
that.
it speeds up.
Yeah. That
You
kind of
look
matches
funnier though. Like you've never been funnier. And I mean that. I absolutely mean that.
ever. So yeah.
Here's the interesting thing. We're using a new software suite that actually saves all these streams. And I'm betting that your local stream, if we matched it to, we could actually get the real video instead of the aired skipping stuff. So that might be something fun to play with to fix stuff like this.
Very excited to see how that turns out. So
I'm not doing it. You are. It's your camera that messed up.
It's my internet. I'm on dial-up, guys. Remember those net zero things that used to
Dial-up
get?
exists?
Well,
Uh,
as our fans know, Zaz is in Texas, where apparently they're reversing in time by decades.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
so like,
Yeah. Technologies are right. It's something. I don't know.
yeah, we can't. Yeah, we can't let women be women or internet be fast.
DSL is a cuck.
Ugh.
So anyway, Paige, do you have any questions for us? I hate to just keep drilling questions at you. I'm so glad that you got away and you got to really enjoy and adventure in some of my favorite areas, like North Carolina. I go to usually. It's been a while, but like twice a year, I have family down there in the Raleigh area, and I actually like it. I'm mixed on some of it. Like the summers are worse than here in Pennsylvania sometimes, but the people, it's a mix of really fantastic people and then some scary people.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, my worst experience there was we found a dog, a beagle, running down the side of a highway, like a 4-lane highway. So we stopped, put the dog in the car, and immediately just farted, and it was horrible. But we turned around and we went back to the rest stop to the exit before we picked up the dog. And hey, there's cop cars. Awesome. So we pull up to the cop cars. Hey, we found this dog running outside of the highway. We're like, okay. I'm like, do you guys want to maybe find out who the owner is? Because we're not from here. We're going home. I'm like, yeah, we can't really. Like, they didn't even get out of their cars to talk to me.
That's rude.
Like that level of there's some bad people, and I didn't expect it from the police. It was we went to the gas station where she pulled out a little white notepad and had the numbers of neighbors written on it, and used the landline phone to call up whatever his name was. And he came and got it, and he was very blown away by the fact that I had the dog on a leash. We had used like a luggage strap from our backpack. He's like, that dog's never been on a leash. Like, she's a hunting dog. And I'm like, I'm surprised she let you. I'm like, she's a sweet dog. She let us put the leash on and walk properly with it. And it was just like, so we got the dog home and everything's fine, but I was still turned off by the fact that the police didn't have any interest in helping. Like, I think they called the local animal shelter, which was closed. It was a Sunday, but like, that's it. They're like, yeah, we're done. I'm like, dude, this is one of the people you're protecting and serving, and you're not helping.
You go to for help.
Yeah. So other than that, but I met a lot of great people, and I'm quite positive there are very quality police down there. But in that particular, I think it was called O-Line or OINE, OINE, North Carolina. It wasn't even like a real word.
That doesn't even sound like a word.
Yeah, it blew me away because I still not really positive how to pronounce it, even though I've had relatives in the area correct me. Like, no, I think they pronounce it. Well, I'm like, I don't care anymore. So yeah, you've been to areas I love. Vegas, Red Rock. If you've been to Red Rock, right outside of Vegas. If you haven't, you have to go back now.
Not yet, but I want to.
But what questions do you have for us on whatever you like? Dig in. Talk about our relationship.
Well, I could either go that way or one that I thought of is kind of reversing one, reverse engineering, one
Okay.
from me to you guys. And
Sure.
maybe if you have like a favorite story about like a solo trip or some sort of solo experience that you've had and you want to share it, I mean, I'm down to hear it.
I could go like the most recent. I just went camping, and my wife didn't make it up till the next day, and I sat by a fire listening to 20-year-old music. I think I topped on this and just chilled out by a fire listening to old music, and I had a blast. It was one of my favorite solo things. It is one of my favorite solo things to do. Other than that, I used to have to travel to New York for work once a month for a week, and exploring a massive city on your own, partially on someone else's dime, is fantastic. It was like I got to eat like on somebody else's budget, and I got to like my first trip to New York was to go see Phantom of the Opera. We took a train in, and I have great memories of it. But the city itself at that time, I saw a homeless person alive on the way to Times Square, and on the way back there was a cover over him, and they were loading him in. Like we got hit up to buy fake watches as soon as we got off the train. It was a very different New York than when I was going there probably maybe 10 years ago. Super clean. I didn't feel any anxiety walking alone or in a alleyway, essentially. Cabs were perfect. Everything about New York was wonderful to me, and I really loved exploring it for what it was. So that was actually one of my favorite solo things.
That's
Josh,
cool.
Zaz?
I personally, and we'll just play a game called Pretend My Connection is Still Working. Can you guys still hear me?
We can hear you fine. It's your video
Okay.
that's
All right.
hilarious.
It's really, I want to put a picture up of, anyway, no, I love to travel. Anybody who knows me is I travel a lot, and solo travel is one of my favorite things because there's not a feeling you could find outside of solo traveling that hits that nervous level. Like you're excited to find like mystery parts and go off the beaten path, at least with me personally, whether it be food or outside of the tourist attractions to find what the locals like. But that nervousness when you initially land and arrive into the city is one of my favorite feelings. I have like several stories. Like one of my favorite, most hilarious ones was I was in Houston. I flew to Houston and I was supposed to have a meeting on a Monday. And I was like, what should I do for these 2 days, that I'm here, Saturday and Sunday? And somebody was like, go to Austin. So I drove 2 hours to Austin, and it was like something out of a movie where my face is not off to the left or the right. But essentially I had everything done before. Like I got hustled. Some person who was not a car person, who was not a parking lot attendant, told me he was. I gave him $10 because I didn't care. And I came back and he was nowhere to be found. And I realized it was a pay spot. That was great. I ended up at an art gallery for somebody who was having and you guys can vilify me if I mispronounce this, a double mastectomy. So they were doing a fundraiser for it at an art show. And so I was there with that and ended up making a ton of friends where I had a bodyguard who was a large Liberty Spike person, and we ended up drinking to like 1 o'clock and hanging out. And he called me, he said he was my bodyguard, and it was fascinating. And made it back to a hotel room that was had bullet holes in it. You could see they poorly patched up, and a stolen painting with the silhouette around the wall. It's I always say when you go to Austin, get the cheapest, dirtiest motel possible because you're gonna have a blast getting there and back. Yeah. And then you have the antithesis, which is going to somewhere like, if you're in the States, I always say Nashville is Austin's clean-cut older brother, right? And that's just kind of the same stories, but it's more clean and just the same kind of party rock. Everybody's having a blast type style, but it's way more polite. Like all the insanity is way more polite, if that makes any sense at all. And,
It does. Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you go out of country, say to like, I don't know, anywhere in Europe, Norway specifically, you realize if you get into trouble, you have no one to call. So that nervousness is real. And that's the special part about traveling, I think, is that you're not going to get that anywhere else, is that uncomfortable feeling of your safety net is removed and you're kind of on your own. Of course, you're going to have stories on the way there and back. And that's the whole point of traveling, I think, is building those stories.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
real
like
quick.
that.
Hey, Zaz, I think your camera issues are related to you're using the in-app green screen. It looked a lot like what was happening to me.
Okay.
Like if you can shut down some processes running on that computer or even Discord or something else, just to free up some more overhead, especially if your hardware acceleration is on in Discord.
Oh my gosh. And just like that. Am I back?
Hey, we're learning as we go. Yeah. I mean, we heard you the whole time. Your audio was perfect. Whoa, don't.
I'm gonna. Hey, Hammer. I'm gonna be inside spoon. All right, I promise.
All right, as long as you mouth kiss me.
Yeah, there you go. See, this is a man who knows what he wants, and I respect that.
Yeah. Josh, do you have a story?
Sure.
I like how you're a
But,
producer and he's a ethical slut. You treat yourself too well. It'll change, I'm sure.
Sure, I've got a story. There's an easy one actually, but quickly, just Zaz mentioned hotels. Many years ago, my now wife and I moved to Chicago for a bit. We first got there, we didn't have a place to stay yet, so we had to get a hotel for a few nights, and we got the cheapest thing that was available just outside the city. And the reason it sticks out is because when you turned the TV on, channel 1 was hardcore pornography.
They start with that. That's great. They know why you're there, I guess.
As was channel 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And
now tell
then
me
you
there
got
was
the local
themes.
channels.
Oh, there were themes to it. Like was two people, one was solo.
I don't recall the channel names or themes. I do know that the reason we noticed that was because when we turned the TV on, the first thing we got was that under the balls shot. It was jarring, to say the least.
And that, kids, is how you were conceived.
But favorite solo trip. So I went to Portland many years ago by myself. And it was about that time I'd been considering, and Zaz is well aware of this because we started doing this together, kind of. I had been considering doing stand-up. And I realized that I was in a brand new city where I knew 0 people. And I could, if I wanted to, go try stand-up without much worry of, if it was as horrible as I assumed it was going to be. It was, spoiler alert. At least I wouldn't have to see anybody there ever again, right?
Beautiful idea.
Yeah, and so I did, and it went horrible. I was still so nervous that when I walked to, it wasn't even a stage. It was on the floor in front of this room in a bar. But the guy before me had been very tall and left the mic stand up high. What would occur to a normal person is take the microphone out of the stand and then use it. And not do what I did, which was to hold the microphone like this for the 3.5 minutes that I tried to do stand.
I bet you that sounded really good.
Your brain shut down is what happened.
Oh.
You were so consumed with everything around you.
100%. The good thing that came of it, though, was that it was a fun thing to do, and we ended up doing stand-up for a couple of years. It was fun. So
Oh, good.
that was a fun solo trip by myself. It was good.
I'm glad you had a very, very real bombing on stage. I've never
I
had
plenty of those.
Yeah.
I've been on the stage in a comedy club. It introduced. I used to run an independent movie night at the local Funny Bone, and I've been on stage at the Funny Bone, and I've talked to people from the stage, and I've even had a joke or two as I was killing time before starting the movie. And it is just the worst feeling sometimes, but it's the best. Like when you get off, if I got even a small chuckle, I'm like, okay, hey, I'm not completely hateable. So. And then we start the movie and they forget you were even there. They didn't come for me. But yeah, like the bombing experience, I've had bombing experience at first date dinners with parents. I've had bombing experiences on first dates, which I'm sure we have friends of the show. They do a podcast dedicated to bad first dates. I think you'll love it, Paige. Um, yeah, I know. We should get Paige on there. Yeah.
Should we make a phone call? Should we make I think I want to make a phone call. I would love nothing.
You know what? You get ready.
Well, I mean, maybe Paige isn't ready to share. Yeah, it's like maybe I don't know. I'm sorry. That was a little. I didn't mean to assume anything. Sorry.
Paige said do it. Paige said do it.
First date stories.
Oh
Yeah, we'll get you in contact to tell. I actually told a story about a bad first date that happened to me. I have many, many more where I'm the bad first date for people, and you realize it in Russia. I will tell this real quick. I won't. I will tell it to you personally. I don't know. Like it really paints me in a bad light, but I ruined this girl's evening and possibly a front tire. Yeah.
Wow, that was like that. Yeah, that was like boggle. I like you just pick out a word and front tire. Okay, there we go.
Connect
Nice.
the dots.
Remind me, it's a horrible fun story of how immature and stupid my brain was. I was probably at least 18. Like not a lot of excuses. The you calling her, Zaz?
Do you want me to?
Yeah, why not? Let's see if we get it to work. Why not? I actually think that Paige would love their show. But how did I get on the bad first date topic? Like, where were we going before that? I don't know.
You
Oh.
bombed. You bombed on a first date.
Oh yeah, like I said, I've definitely bombed. I thought I was going in like doing awesome, and then I'm like, oh wow, I am just not. We're not connecting. She's not laughing at a thing. I've done stuff where I've told like an old people joke, and her grandfather had died the week before. That sort of level, I put my foot right in my mouth immediately. Like, oh, there's no recovering from this. Do you want me to just go?
Well, what kind of old person joke did you say? Like,
it might have been like, old people. They just, I wish you would die and get away, get out of traffic. Like, like what? Something stupid and just like, like they drive slow, just die and just move over for us young people. It was probably something along this.
I remember what it was. It was knock knock.
Who's there?
Not your grandpa.
Oh.
I didn't quite go there, but there's a comedian, Tommy Tiernan, who actually at a funeral, like one of his jokes at a funeral was, did she say no way in hell?
Oh no, she screened me, so it was it was just straight to voicemail. So Anastasia Beaverhausen, which is what she goes by on her show, must be busy right now. So
the joke was knock knock. Who's there? Not Mickey's dad. That's who. Like just brutal. I recommend that special. It's Something Mental by Tommy Tiernan. So hey, before Paige, I know you said half an hour and you've been on here for an hour at least. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you.
Oh my God,
No, it's Paige. They're the reason you're their number one. Don't tell anybody else. You're one of our favorite friends of the show.
Every time your name pops up, Paige in big letters. It happens every time. Paige.
Yeah. Before we transition, though, I do have one thing to say about Josh's story.
Oh yeah, sorry, we didn't.
I wonder how much money that hotel gave away for free, having all of those porn channels. Like even just one porn channel, I'm sure can cost. Like back in the days, you used to pay up for pay-per-view or Skinamax, things like that. 6 channels for free.
Here's an excellent point, but I have a feeling that this hotel did a lot of things less than legal.
They also have video systems where you load in VHS tapes or DVDs and you just play it on your own internal broadcast.
Oh.
So they might have paid some money for the initial setup. Yeah. They just, and you could probably call it, can you change tape number 3? I've seen it 6 times and it's not doing it.
Right.
It's but yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off from asking follow-up questions. That was rude of me.
No,
I'm a horrible.
the
Switch up gears thing, I was thinking, Zaz, if you want to find an interesting post on Reddit and screen share, I want to test out the screen share.
Oh, we're doing the screen share. Okay. All right.
So this way, we're not just having questions read. We could look at it as well. And it's a whole dynamic
I've got something to test if you want.
Yeah. What is it?
Uh-oh.
Are we going to watch a question from Paige Bond and have Paige answer it?
We could. But I was going to try this. And I have this set up for Hammer and Zaz, but it's even better that Paige is here because we can play three-person round on this. So
by the way, Paige, he hasn't told us anything about this. We are all going at this blind except for Josh. So
All
we're
right.
in his hands with you. If you agree to this.
Yep, I'll be in your hands.
Okay.
You're a monster.
I thought you'd like that one.
I stopped right before the end. Did I miss something?
The picture I used for Zaz, I think.
I didn't see it.
was
We have to see that again.
All right.
Okay. That was a hell of a picture of you, Zaz. Keep the hat on.
It seemed like it absolutely stopped. Like, oh, did I miss it? I missed it. Oh.
All right.
Okay.
Let's do this.
I'm going to try. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Okay.
All right.
So this is, I'm going to read a question from Dear Abby. And I would like to know what your answers would be to this question. And I will award points based on how well you do with expert Abby's advice. So
Okay.
Here we go. Dear Abby, I have been married to my wife for a little over a year. I love her. However, right before our wedding, I met a coworker I'll call Alexis. We hit it off, and I consider her a close friend. Alexis and I hooked up a few times before and after my wedding. We never discuss the encounters after they happen. After we've had a few drinks, we both say things about being together, but usually we're just best friends. While my friends believe this is odd, it's almost a blessing that the awkward conversation doesn't happen after a night of something happening. There have been instances where I have ditched my wife to hang out with Alexis, not to do anything, but just to hang out with her and her mother. My wife says I spend too much time with Alexis between work and after work, but she's fun to be with. My wife is kind of a homebody. She doesn't like to go out and have a good time. My wife doesn't trust Alexis, and while I can't blame her, I'm conflicted about what my next step should be. I love my wife, but I also love Alexis as more than a friend. I know she feels the same. What should I do next? From Loves Them Both.
Paige, you're the guest here. I'm going to let you go first if you like.
Well, we know Dear Abby didn't suggest any type of open relationship dynamic.
I would hope she would. Like let's change it up, Abby. But go ahead.
Unfortunately. My best guess. I've only read like one, maybe two Dear Abby columns. So
you could go with your own advice. It's okay if you lose the game. He's not giving out real prizes.
Yeah, these points are kind of like what's the
whose line is it
all
anyway?
about?
whose line? There you go. Yeah.
But answer however you like. I don't want to guide you too much, but
yeah. So I think Dear Abby says, hey, have an open conversation with your wife and decide to choose between the women. I think she's going to give it to him straight and say, hey, you got to choose one and stop lying. So we'll see if that lines up.
All right. How about Hammer? What do you got?
I'm going to give my own advice, but I think Dear Abby's going to hit some of this. That he needs to end his relationship with his wife because he's cheating on her and will continue to do so. He's unfaithful. He was unfaithful before the wedding. If he just met this person and he's unfaithful after the wedding, meaning he's not willing to stop completely. I think he needs to end it. I think Abby might even go as far as to say that he doesn't need to tell her why he's ending the marriage because it's only going to hurt the wife. I'm going to change that a little bit because he does need to tell her because he risks to her health. I think if earlier in the week, I actually gave advice to somebody saying, do not tell your boyfriend because no sex had occurred. It was like kissing and feeling up. Like you're just going to hurt that person. When there's sex involved, you have risked to life. You have, possibly transmitted HPV, herpes, or worse. Even with a condom, there could be stuff going on.
Pregnancy.
I think Abby will say you don't need to tell your wife, get out. He has cheated on his wife. He has not cheated on Alexis. Alexis knows what's going on. He's honest with her. He likes hanging out with her. They have similar interests. They like having sex together. They can hang with or without sex. That's obviously who he should be with, is my advice.
All right, and Zaz.
Unless there's a kid involved.
I have no idea what was even talked about. I'm sorry. I was busy yelling at our friend of the show. So my apologies. I would say
yell at friends of the show. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, no, it was a vicious, brutal beating I gave them. I was like, you missed your shot. It's over. You're done in this town. And I shook my finger really hard. I'm going to guess you said Dear Abby, pray more. And like, I don't know, pray more. I'm assuming that's what she said. So.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and give Zaz 0 points. And
come on.
We're going to go
really thorough explanation.
Take a look.
This game's rigged. I want off this show now. Starting a union.
Dear love, you may love both of these women, but you are being fair to neither one. Your wife doesn't trust Alexis because she senses something is wrong, and she's right. You and Alexis aren't buddies. You are lovers. That you have confided it to friends who think this is odd, in your word, means it is just a matter of time until your wife is in on the secret. Your first loyalty should be to your wife. At the very least, you owe it to her to have an honest discussion with her and figure out with her what the next steps should be.
Paige wins, clearly.
I'm going to give Paige 7 points and Hammer 5 points. And Zaz, I'm going to take another point away from because I feel like it.
I don't know. I think you just didn't read the part where she says you need more prayer. And yeah, that's on you.
I didn't scroll down any further. That's true.
Yeah.
I think I'm also in Reddit mode where, like, you know, I don't ever anticipate on hearing back from the person. They're going to delete their anonymous post or whatever it might be. So it's like, you know, just get divorced. I'm cutting to the chase. You're getting divorced because there's no way this discussion's ending well with this person who doesn't even like to go out a lot. She's not going to say something like, well, but that's me. And I'm throwing my biases in there because my wife would just probably stab me.
Well, I just wonder why he ended up getting married to his wife if he doesn't like her, doesn't like hanging out with her, doesn't like having sex with her as much. What does he like?
They already bought the flowers for the wedding or something. I've heard ridiculous reasons why people continue to get married. I didn't want to disappoint her. Well, you are. Yeah. Yes. That was really good, Josh. Thank you.
Yeah, that
Do you
was
have
a
another
fun
one?
game. Thank you.
There is a second question there, and actually I was thinking it might be fun because we do often on this show concentrate on more romantic relationships, but this is supposed to be a more broad relationship advice show.
Awesome.
So
I'm gonna have the advantage over Paige, maybe.
is that. So let's go back here one more time.
By the way, I did want to show off I am wearing a Pride bracelet for the evening. Try to keep it on all month.
Dear Abby. Oh, you know what? Hold on.
I hate you. I hate you.
I turned the banner off so you could see it better.
Thank you so much, Josh. You go above and beyond every time, and we all appreciate it here at the Relationship Smith.
You're welcome. Dear Abby, my husband and I have been going to the same dentist for 20 years. We have always had the same dental hygienist. There's a computer in the room where she works, and she always schedules our next 6-month cleaning with her before we leave. Over the years, we've noticed that she's not very clean. She is sometimes very unkempt with greasy hair and body odor. Her treatment room is also very messy. The last time I was there, she opened her cupboard, and I was appalled at the junk crammed in there. We are concerned that this is unsanitary, and we no longer want to see her. We love our dentist and the office staff. They are the nicest, most considerate, and professional people. I would like to call and ask the front desk to reschedule our appointment with the other hygienist and include in our files that we only want to see that one. My husband thinks we should switch dentists. To be honest, I'm shocked the dentist would tolerate this, but he is a kind individual, and maybe that's the problem. Any advice would be appreciated. Dental drama in the East.
Well, I know based on the bottom of that page that she says you should have discussed this. So actually, Paige, again, you're the guest here. I would like it if you want to go first, you go first. Or you
So
could
what
pass.
would dear Abby say to that?
Yeah.
All right. Well, first, I'm going to take Zazzer's kind of like line of thinking here. We'll start with a nice little prayer before conversation.
Involve the Lord.
I'm a huge fan of Paige
Paige,
Bond.
you've been doing so well so far.
After that, I think dear Abby would say, you shouldn't put up with an unclean environment and you should just avoid the whole situation and switch dentists.
Zaz? Or Josh, you get to run the show. Sorry.
No, Zaz, please. let us
I'm
know.
going to actually I'm going to shift gears from this one. And I would say treat it like a restaurant, Karen. First and foremost,
You just alienated every Karen who watches this show.
It's just like, did you actually talk to the manager first, or like explain it before you went on to social media and started telling everybody your issues? Let them know, because they might. Yeah. I mean, what was?
Yeah, these are like classic reprints from the 80s, I think.
Oh, okay. So, oh man, the jokes I want to make, and I cannot make them. Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, did you talk to the manager? Did you let them know, hey, I saw a cockroach in your room? Metaphors. Yeah, it's like, if you didn't let them know, they might not know. I mean, maybe he just is unaware because it's like a day in, day out thing to him. I mean, obviously he owns his own practice, so he should be, I don't know, a little cerebral and have a different lens. Or she. See, I've been messing up pronouns all day today, so I'm just going to hug this rocket straight into the ground, and I'm going to apologize to everyone out there. Zaz is an idiot. He's not a smart person. Clearly, he can't trust his own.
Listen, when you reach a certain age, it's hard to relearn your pronouns, and you're getting close to that age. I struggle. I never want to offend people. I really don't, but sometimes I screw it up, and I hope that my at least trying makes up for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I was just busting you because I could.
I know, no, and I deserve every bit of it. But we're never going to learn unless we try. So, long story short, I would say, if you didn't talk to the person, how about not going, giving them a 0 out of 5 on Yelp or whatever the equivalent was in 1986. So, yeah.
The bulletin board at the grocery store down the road.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, this no, we're just going to stop. Anyway, that's my terrible 2 cents. I'm not smart.
All right, Hammer, what do you got?
So my thought is that you want to switch dentists, and the reason being is if the dentist allows this at their practice, what else is going on that you aren't seeing? Truth, I mean, that's the dentist can't not see that this person is dirty or smelly. The dentist, the person who owns the business, cannot not see that their work area is atrocious. I don't think you want to go to that dentist. I don't care if they're kind and nice. The infections aren't. Hey, so I would move. I would switch.
What if he lost his sense of smell to COVID? Huh? You insensitive prick. I mean, come on.
80s, man. 80s.
That's true. They didn't invent diseases until 1992.
Also, you could tell when someone's hair is greasy, even with COVID. So you could probably guess when somebody's stuff. Like, who's the musician? Post Malone. Post Malone, I've never smelled him, but I bet he smells like sour milk. Like
his manager literally quit and said because he smelled like sour milk. That is a quote from said manager. I'm telling you.
Good guess.
Speaking of that and friends of the show, one of the best roast jokes on those Comedy Central things I ever heard was somebody with Gilbert Gottfried who told him he looked like he smelled like pee.
Fair enough.
Part of that.
Yeah.
Gilbert Gottfried, friend of the show.
Friend of the show. Yeah. We miss him dearly. He was going to come on and right up until he passed away. And then he couldn't. It's totally, we tried, everybody.
Are we allowed to say that?
What's Gilbert Gottfried going to sue us? I don't think so.
Well,
he can.
Kind of can't now.
Somebody would have to prove that he wasn't. Go ahead, Josh.
All right.
Oh, that's our new thing. That's right. We could do that from now on.
Dear Drama, you should have discussed this with your dentist years ago. Your concerns are valid. It is right to be treated by another hygienist. It is your right to be treated by another hygienist for the reasons you have stated. However, for your dentist's sake, as well as your own, tell him exactly why you felt it was necessary to make the change. It will be doing the practice a favor.
That's
So
solid.
we were all correct, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, Zaz is up to 0 points to Paige's 8 and Hammer's 7.
Wait, hold up a sec. How many 0? Literally, she said you should have brought it up, which was my whole. You know what? This game's rigged. I'm calling
Hey,
collusion.
Do you know what you can trade in for your points?
Where's the soundboard? Here we go.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good call.
God damn it!
A background of you without your hat on.
Oh.
How many points is it worth?
Wait, he had 0 points. That's all he gets. He just once.
Yeah, no.
Well, Paige, congratulations on your resounding thumping of the Relationship Myth on his own show.
Well,
That's, you know what? That's not polite. Dear Miss Manners would not approve. You should have taken a dive and.
And here's what Zaz's grand 0 total gets him.
The day I sent that photo, I never ever no regrets.
Regret.
Yeah,
Not even one.
I
Not a
sent
single
Josh
letter.
a 40-minute video of me making different faces so that he can map my face with AI onto stuff. And I haven't regretted it yet, but there will be a day. There will be a day that
it still exists. Yeah, it's
I
coming.
seriously regret it.
I hate to shift gears, guys, real quick. And have we got any calls yet? We haven't emailed any or pinged anybody today, but I'm just making sure that our phone line. We're good.
Yeah,
we're good.
No calls
Okay.
yet. We're up
Making
watching
sure.
it.
All right.
Yeah, we have it on the screen a lot too. So
I know. I just want to make sure that sometimes airplane mode and all that.
Yeah.
Maybe when I'll prank call you guys.
We have gotten prank calls. It's awesome.
And they've actually been really awesome. Yeah, they've been actually. I'm not trying to incentivize any prank calls, but
We
Hammer
have
just was
Granny
like, "You
saved in our contact.
Yeah, we actually saved the number so we know when they call. And
Ooh.
we missed her call 3 weeks ago. I felt like we didn't answer and they're not calling back, but they'll call back.
a lot of
I like it. I like the fact that we've reached a level where people think we're prank worthy. I don't want to encourage it again, but again, if you are somebody who calls with a really horrible or no talent prank, we're just going to hang up. Even if you have a good one, we still might hang up if we're busy doing something else. Let's be fair.
No refrigerator running jokes on this show.
No, they've been more advanced, like eating cereal out of his girlfriend's ass with a wooden spoon, but he doesn't like cereal that comes in a bag. So he wanted
pranks.
Yeah.
And she was afraid of boxes.
Yeah. She didn't like boxes, so he had to buy the bag cereal, but he doesn't like the cheap generic bag cereal. So
very specific, well thought out, and then it gets to that point where the punchline hits, and then it kind of tapers off from there. So it's
classic, right off the Jerky
job
Boys
done,
second album.
and then they're gone. Like they just do the thing and they bounce. It's again, not trying to incentivize, but
yeah, and I do like that particular pranker because he doesn't waste a lot of time getting to the point where you realize it's a prank.
Right.
I mean, I realized early on, but like the point when it's obvious, I'm like, oh, thank you for not wasting 10 minutes, and then like, Baba Booey, like
this one puts some fun. I want to break your soundboard.
Baba Booey.
I want to set it on fire and then break it and then set.
I know that one's never going away. Paige, if you want to hang out more and do like a Reddit post, we can do that. I don't want to. I love having your time, but I know you have a life and you have stuff to do, and you just got back from a long trip.
Okay. All right. Can I give options? Am I allowed to do options?
If you have 3 that you don't know to choose from.
I mean, this is Paige's time. Yeah, trust me, man. I definitely. It's okay. So we have one who thinks that the girl, the significant other, the wife is being delusional. It thinks he's hacking devices. We have another one that's really into AI chatbots. I'm trying to catch lightning in a bottle again. That's not going to happen. But let's move on. And the other one, which is Paige, I don't know if we had discussed this with you before, but post-COVID, somebody connected the dots on the show that we've been seeing an uptick on coworker relationship posts. And This one actually says, how do I make things less awkward with my coworker, which is a different take. We saw usually it's like, I'm falling in love with my coworker. What should I do when I'm a person in position of power? And, and then we actually had the first like, hey, I'm not in a position of power, but I really dig this person in a different department, and now we have how do I de-escalate a situation? So we have hacker, AI chatbot, or coworker.
I like the first one a lot because it's going along that line of like that techie stuff, right? And like how it interferes with relationships. But I think the coworker one's really interesting. I don't think we do too many ones like that, right? You guys,
and they're definitely. I think it was Josh that pointed it out first. I know Zaz, you brought it up.
Yeah,
and I don't remember who thought it up, but like it hit me. I'm like, you guys are 100% right. That's why we're seeing all this. Everybody had COVID and they didn't know how to socialize and they didn't. And then when COVID was kind of, we're still not, it's still a disease. Let's be fair. But now that people are going out and the restrictions are gone, they're not going out. They're going to work because now they have RTO. And that's where they see available single people that they're interested in. And I think, and it's undocumented. I've never read a news article about it. I've never seen somebody talk about it as a phenomenon. So I'm going to say we came up with it. We discovered it. Or those guys did. But I say, let's go with that. Share the screen. I want to see how well that works out too.
Okay. Give me 2 seconds here and
present.
Share screen, please. Oh, I could just share the window. So you wanted the coworker?
Yeah.
All right. We're going coworker. 35. And I'll give you the how do I live with that? All right.
No.
See, Paige knows what's up. All right. Last week, I hung
hit
out
Control
with
plus on your screen a little bit. Yeah, one more time. There we go. Oh, beautiful. That's good. That's great. Good.
1 second. Okay. Last week, I hung out with a coworker friend at her house. We really had a great time getting drinks, and she suggested we go back to her place and hang out a little more. After getting settled in her apartment, we started to talk about past and current romantic relationships. I recently got out of a short but intense relationship several months ago, which led to being blocked. I guess that's me being blocked. I admit I have spam called and texted to see if we could get back together again. I was acting very insecure, and I'm sure that it showed after being blocked. Oof. I recently read White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo and have been engaging in anti-racism work for the past few years at this point. I'd mentioned these things to my friend and asked if I overstepped any boundaries with my ex-boyfriend. My ex-boyfriend is mixed, being half Mexican and half black. For example, we were talking about family. He mentioned how his mother is from Mexico. I asked whether he had learned to speak Spanish when growing up. In the same discussion, I asked about his dad. I asked to see a photo, and he seemed hesitant before showing me his dad. I think I should not have asked those questions when we first started dating. When we were making out, I paused and asked if it was okay to touch his hair. He said it was okay. However, I felt a bit hesitant too. I know he said it was okay, but I just didn't want to offend him or make him upset. She suggested that she thought I didn't do anything inappropriate. However, I know that the rest of the night I was apologizing for talking about my ex-boyfriend and talking about me ex-boyfriend. I felt things were off for the past week, and she was actively avoiding me after a group meeting. After a group meeting, as we were about walking back, I had apologized about crossing any boundaries or making her uncomfortable last week. She said that we were good, but I'm not sure if it was okay for me to talk to her about, as she was just coming out of a meeting, or when it would have been an okay time to talk to her about it. TLDR, I thought I had lost our friendship with my coworker because I was talking about my ex-boyfriend, and I may have offended him. I think I'd offended her after our hangout. After apologizing, I think I need more information here. I'm sorry. I think I what?
Yeah, what's the question?
I think I can't live any longer. Paige, again, I'm gonna see if you want to go first on this one. If you have thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tricky situation, right? Because it's bleeding personal life into work life. So I can imagine maybe the coworker / new friend might find it awkward to talk about those things in the workplace, or since the poster did mention that they were quite insecure in the last relationship, I wonder how much that might bleed into friendships as well, because it sounds like there's quite a bit of seeking reassurance from this friend coworker.
Yes, I'm same. You're almost echoing what I'm thinking right here.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's, just some of that anxious attachment style coming up, and that kind of wondering if I'm the problem. Am I the problem? I better not be the problem. Let me apologize to make sure I'm not the problem. And so, unfortunately, I think there's just a lot of overthinking going on for this person.
I don't know how much more I can add to that. The whole, like, as I was reading, I'm like, this person just wants constant reassurance, and either they are so terrified of offending somebody, because she was never like, maybe we didn't get along, maybe I talked too much, maybe I rambled, maybe I used a swear word she doesn't like, or she found out I wasn't religious enough, and she was she never had any of those thoughts. It was, did I offend her? Just like she was with her boyfriend. Did I offend you? Can I touch your hair? You're making out. You can touch their hair. I don't care. Like, I think once your lips touch, it's okay to caress someone's hair. It's okay to, like, maybe not grab their bum at the first kiss, but like, I think once you're kissing, you can move your hands to the non-sexual parts of their body. That's just me. But all the content,
permission to touch their hair anyways, right?
which was nice, but I think that is indicative of her constantly wanting to make sure she's not offending, and that comes out of an insecure area. Usually it may also be that she generally just doesn't want to offend somebody, and I think if that's the case, it might be taking over her life in a bad way. There's sometimes you can care too much and push it in the other direction too far, where you're no longer a pleasure to be near. And I just wonder if, like, my comment, if I were writing, it would be, you seem to be worried about offending everybody around you. And I think you need to take a step back from that and be okay with occasionally offending people who just don't get along with who you are and your style. I'm not encouraging you to go do bad things to people. To always keep people in mind, but it's okay if you say something and you believe in those words for somebody to be offended in them. It's okay. You don't have to make everybody not be offended. So, but in this particular case, I would also say, I think your coworker just didn't get along with you on the same level you did with them when it's time to sit down. And that's okay. People sometimes just don't connect. A lot of people don't connect a lot of the time. You just found somebody who you got a little closer and found out you didn't. That's me. But yeah, I echoed when I started hearing all that. Did I offend? Could I do this? Can I touch that? Can I say this? Did I ask them to see a picture of your dad? Like, that's not a bad thing. You want to get to know them. I don't think it's, unless you're like, I've never seen a Mexican man over 40. Can I see a picture of your dad? That's offensive.
That actually makes me want to ask where. Yeah, like, I feel like those
Can
were
I
like
touch your dad's hair?
that was so good. I'm jealous of that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any more to add on this? You've been on the air with us for over an hour and probably half an hour before. Like, you gave us half an hour, we took 90. We're horrible people.
Okay. Now, did you just write that post? Are you afraid of offending me now?
No. I know I'm a horrible person. It's different. I'm very confident in my no. No, I really seriously super appreciate your time here. I want to make sure we give you another plug again, paigebond.com. It's on the screen. Paige, you're amazing. Go check out her jealousy workbook. Listen to her podcast. I'm doing a recording with you in next week.
Yes,
is it?
Next week.
Next week, I'm going on Paige's show, and you get to learn a little bit more about me and why I do things in a way more professional environment than ours. It's going to be a blast. I can't wait to do it. So thank you for inviting me, letting me be on your show. And will I be one of your newest podcast, like a new series?
I wouldn't say I just keep plugging episodes. I don't have a season or series or anything. I just keep on going.
I get it. Well, we kind of do, but we like to. We don't even know. Honestly, we don't know which episode this is.
We're on season 3, guys. Remember, we used to have a 4th cast member, and he died. It was weird, like on stream. So
we don't talk about Eric anymore.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen to me?
It was a cliffhanger, actually. Plot twist. Paige is Eric. Everybody.
Actually, this is new Eric. Congratulations on your transition, Eric.
Jeez. Fuck.
It's not. Anyway. Paige, thank you so much. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that 70s show replaced Eric. Wasn't the character's name Josh?
I was going to stop you. Yes.
So they replaced Eric with I can't
Say
remember the first
Masterson.
kid's name.
Say Masterson. Say Masterson.
I'm not
No,
going. I'm not
no,
doing
it
Danny
was,
He
Masterson.
doesn't deserve that.
Was it
Nope.
Seth Meyers' brother? No.
Seth Meyers'
Was it?
brother was the replacement in the last season, but they had one kid who was going to be Eric's replacement on the last episode of the previous season, and they wrote him off the show. And then the first episode of the last season, they said he fell off the water tower and died.
Oh, good.
Remember that.
Yeah, and he was the love interest on the show. I want to say Grounded for Life.
So, Paige, really quick, Nathaniel Hammer is a sponge for random knowledge, like pop culture stuff. Like we, the last little get together we did on a regular basis, we would just throw things at him, and he would just pontificate on that stuff for like 20 minutes. He just throw like, this band from like 1990, whatever. And he's like, well, actually, that band started off with, and it would just be this long thing. So I love it. It's so the obscure knowledge you have about these people, Hammer, is fascinating. I want to really dig into that someday.
That, and the sad part is that's where actual good knowledge should live, like physics
Should live, yeah,
and calculus and
We should do a
chemistry,
podcast like that.
where I just ramble about pop culture.
I think we did. We
Did
called
we
it the
do that?
Relationship Smith.
Yeah.
It was, I think, but yeah.
Yeah. Don't have anybody Google that.
Well, it's live, so we got
Yeah, it's out there now. We have viewers. So, hey, by the way, thank you for watching the show, everybody out there. And I did again. I'm gonna push you one more time, Paige. Your podcast, your website, your practice, what you do for a living in counseling ethical non-monogamous couples. I got it right. And of course, other couples as well. But I think what you do is important because it's so hard for people who aren't in a standard dictionary definition or relationship to get help, to get over the bumps, or to solve problems, or to get. I always use the term learn how to get tools and learn how to use them. Is like what I tell people what therapy is for. Like, you don't know how to deal with this, and you will get some tools from your therapist that might help you, and you work on how to use those tools. And so I always try to push people in that direction. And it's really hard if you walk in and you're like, well, we're swingers, and the therapist's like, oh, that's why your relationship's falling apart. And neither of you are unhappy with that aspect. You might be unhappy with communication on another level. So it's great to have somebody that doesn't just walk you, but they walk in and you're like, nope, you're evil people. I'll pray for you, but goodbye. Like
yeah.
I am afraid that's what some people run into out there. And it's sad. So I'm really glad you're out there doing really good work for great people who just don't live a life like I don't even want to say most people, because I think most people do some version of all of this, honestly.
Mm-hmm. You would be surprised, because I would say about like between 75 to 85% of my practice has some sort of ethical non-monogamy aspect to their relationship. So
Yeah.
it is very not so much talked about, but very much so needed for tools, resources, us talking about it, us normalizing it, because there can be so much shame involved with it. So, yeah.
And there should never be shame. If you enjoy it and you're not hurting anybody and you're not lying to anybody, there's no shame.
Yep.
Enjoy it's your body. You get to use it for how many years? Don't deny yourself if you're not lying, or that sort of thing. So I do have one question for you, though, thinking about it. Since you started doing what you do, and your friends and family found out, have you been surprised by anybody saying, oh, by the way? You don't have to name names or say family or whatever, just somebody you never suspected, like, oh yeah, we're swingers.
I would say no one in my family, because I come from a very conservative background.
So they do, they just won't tell you.
Yeah. Or maybe they just don't want to share.
Every accusation is an admission. Sorry.
Exactly. But I have had friends actually come out and tell me about like their journey of exploring that kind of lifestyle, and see what works for them. So yeah, like that has actually come up and happened, and it's become a little bit more normalized, especially with my friends. They know what my specialty is now. So yeah, it has happened.
Cool. And by the way, I will never, ever dive into your relationship to this thing, because I know you get that all the time. Like, oh, have you ever? I don't care. I care about your job as a therapist. So, and that I don't know. Like I hate when people come to me like, yeah, well, what about you and your marriage? I'm like, it's not about my marriage. It's not about my life. It's about me helping you or getting you to the help you need. And I think people sometimes, it almost seems like a fighting tactic sometimes. So I always avoid it with pretty much everybody in any field like this. It's not, unless I'm interviewing swingers who wrote a book about swinging. I'm totally going to ask them all the questions.
Right. They're right about it already.
Yeah. Yeah. So hey, this show was where I just wanted you to pop in and see the technology, and I really appreciate you joining us and spending so much time. I know, like, again, I know you've mentioned you had a lot of stuff going on, and thank you so much for your time. In fact, you've been here so long. I say we wrap up the show completely because you are the star of this show. Thank you so much. You made this show a complete show.
It was awesome, Paige. Thanks. It's been a great show. Thank you.
Yeah, you asked these guys. I didn't even tell them you were coming on because I thought it was just gonna be a fun 5-minute pop. And you're like, hey guys, I just want to say hi. And then we got talking, and here we are.
Oh, well, good.
So
you're making
we're
my
huge
dreams
fans
come
of you,
true, being the star of the show. So thank y'all for letting me like hang out and take up the spotlight. This is fun.
Thank you for your time.
Help in the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's often seen on the side of the highway on weekends doing what I think they call it community service. No, I expected more of a reaction. But Paige, I really do appreciate your time.
It says kryptonite, no reaction. We got this.
That is my kryptonite. You cannot not react to me.
There you go.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your expertise. Thank you for your opinions and your wonderful absolute personality. Like, you're on anytime you see us, just say, hey, I want to be on, and we'll throw you on. It's that easy.
Thursday nights, I'm here.
All right, you might get harassed from Zaz randomly. Like,
Paige, like all
we
capital
need
letters.
I'm pretty sure Nathaniel's asleep right now. We need you to join in and be.
There's like a break glass and a pool, and like, this like light comes in and she just floats to the ground. All right, what is it? What'd you guys mess up now? All right, let's take a look. All right, answer this question. Stop saying just break up immediately. Listen to the facts. Like, get context in here. There we go.
All right.
Hey Zaz, get the pronouns right for once.
Real quick, I had my most popular answer, both popular Reddit post this week. And my advice was essentially get divorced, which is something I almost never say. But so here's the story. We could read it, but the long and short of it, she's about 4 to 6 weeks away from giving birth to their first child. He wants to get a divorce, but he wants to live there for a year, to maybe help raise the kid. He had previously, and that's not in the post, it's in the post history, asked her if she wanted to be in an open relationship, and she wanted to know what she should do. And my advice was to get divorced at this point. He's not respecting, nothing about the way he's approached you, what he wants is respectful, and it's all under like, we don't talk like we used to, was the reason he wanted to end it. Didn't suggest counseling, didn't want any of these things. And like, I got 3.2K upvotes on it. I got 6 awards on Reddit, and those are kind of rare for me. I'm like, I told somebody, like, normally the advice I never give, we've got the most. I'm like, okay. And not even the responses, nobody disagreed with me.
Don't congratulate that Paige.
I know.
He got awards.
I got it's a major award.
Yeah.
A major award. And I still do stand by the advice. I wasn't trying to get slow clap.
Break.
You actually added that. Yeah. So I needed some balancing out with somebody way more positive about. I honestly think that that she should get divorced. He's just sticking it out until he could save up enough money. He could still date when he wants to, and he just didn't come off as a nice guy. And with her about to start a whole new life, she needs to be the one in control and not like, well, we could try it if you think you're going to come back to me, because he's not. I think once you bring something like that up to your spouse, the doors are closing.
Yeah.
So, and she needs to be the one in control because her life's about to change dramatically for a whole other reason.
Mm.
So I don't know.
I'm curious to go read the post now. I think.
Yeah, I would love to get Paige's feedback on that post.
Zaz, if you want to share it, it's actually in the Discord. I posted it last night.
I closed Discord. I mean, we're ending the show anyway.
Let's end the show.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you, Paige. I'll send you the link.
That works
And
for me.
please roast him if it's incorrect, because I haven't read it, but no pun
I'll
intended.
reply to his.
Oh my god, and just use everything to, and I hope you get like 7 internet points. Okay.
I hope you get. Actually, if I'm in any way wrong, I hope you do reach out to the person. Say, don't listen to him. We talked live, and
This guy's purely unqualified. This is wild what he's doing.
yes.
Closed. Error.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Again, I keep saying that. Everybody knows who you are now. The name's been on the screen. And again, you are welcome back anytime. If you have a night you just want to talk and get stuff out, or if you have another book out, let us know. And anytime, you're welcome here.
Yeah.
We love you.